Hi everyone, this is my first YouTube video and I'm going to share with you my research and my chart analysis on this stock ticker TIGR, also known as Tiger Broker. I'm not an expert and I'm just sharing my views. If you have any feedbacks, feel free to leave it in the comment section and I'll see how I can improve on my research and my chart analysis. Okay, so before we begin, some background about Tiger. Tiger is an online brokerage company that focuses on Chinese retail investors. The company was started in 2015 and is backed by Xiaomi. So Xiaomi is the third largest mobile phone manufacturer in the world. Okay, so now let's take a look at the chart of Tiger, and this is a 1 day, 1 year chart period. So just some chart background. So you can see that from the end of 2020, the stock went parabolic and hit a high of $38.50 on 19 February. And then from there, it crashed down all the way to $16.50 around. This is 8th of March. And from this chart, right, you can see that this is actually a reverse head and shoulders pattern. So these are the shoulders and this is the head. And if you look at this chart, right, it's from the low of $16.50. There was some good news here, and then it gap up all the way to $30. And from $30, it actually touched twice. And this pattern actually looks like a double head, and you can see that they failed to break out on this latest pattern when it touched $30, and there was even this small little doji candle here. And subsequently, with all the black swan news, it starts to crash, and then now it's currently trading around $19.89. So from this chart, we will try to think about or try to analyze how will the chart actually perform from here. And okay, so from here, right, this the fact that it actually closed below this neckline after forming a double head is actually a bearish chart. But you can also see that probably looking around here, it could be potentially consolidating, and we won't really know what's going to happen in the future. But that for me, I will share with you some of my research or my analysis on why I think that it is a good idea to consider getting into Tiger, and what are the catalysts that will push the share price up. But from here, if there are no more black swan news, it's probably potentially consolidating here, and then it could actually go up from here. But if it drops back down with more news, right, potentially the support level is around $16.50, because this is where some of the previous support held before it broke out again. Or if the worst case scenario, it could probably go to around $13 or $14. So these are some of the potential scenarios that the chart could potentially perform in the future. But that is short term, but in the long term, I see a lot of potential in this share. And let me share with you what are some of my thoughts. So here I will share with you what are some of the strengths about this company that will potentially help affect the share price in the next few years. First is the business model. So we know that Tiger is actually a brokerage platform, but it is very different from the traditional brokerage players. Is that they come out with their platform is very innovative. They have a very innovative interface, and I think the main strength of their platform is that they focus a lot on their mobile application, meaning that they have a lot of features and functions that are usually reserved for desktop application that you can use it on your mobile application. And secondly, as compared to the traditional brokers, to set up an account in Tiger, to get it approved, to deposit money is very easy and fast, free, and based on the disclosure provided by the management in its financials, it's only take up to 5 minutes to register and submit an application. And thirdly, they have very aggressive marketing. So let's take a look at the website. So here is the Tiger Broker website, right? You can see that their marketing is very aggressive. The welcome gift for setting up an account is like one free Apple stocks, and you get like 180 days of 60 free commission trades. So I think these are actually creating a lot of word of mouth among the users to their friends to get them to set up this account. And how I heard about Tiger Broker was also through my friends who have actually set up the platform. So all in all, right, their business model is very appealing to the younger generation that are more IT savvy, and they generally spend a lot of time on their mobile phone. So the next point is I want to share about their success in their international expansion. So we know that Tiger Broker, they have license in US, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, and one of the key factors that will enable this share price to go up is actually how successful they are in expanding overseas. So let's look at this news that was released in April 2021. In Singapore alone, they actually continued their exponential growth, and the brokerage saw 100% growth in the customer accounts for 3 consecutive quarters in 2020. And here, if we look at their first quarter 2021 results, we can see that this growth is actually pretty strong. Their total revenue increased 255.5% year on year to reach 81.3 million, and their net income also increased to 21.1 million from a net loss of negative 0.5 million in 2020. So I think one of the reasons that helped this kind of brokerage company that grew in 2020 is actually the COVID pandemic, whereby most of us have to stay at home, we have to work from home, and then investors started to spend more time trying to trade. They turn to trading, they turn to stock market for entertainment to see if they can make some money. So I mean, Tiger is not the only broker that saw such growth. Most of the brokerage company, even the traditional ones, have also posted very strong growth in 2020. But from here you can see that the growth is not stopping. It's actually continuing, which actually shows that the company is doing very well. So the next strength that I will be talking about is the backing. It has very strong backing from Xiaomi. And let's look at the institutional ownership. So if you look at the chart here, right, let's take a look at the change in institutional ownership. Look at this 2020, the last quarter. Total number of institutions that invested in Tiger Broker was 17, versus now, which is 2021, there are like 116 institutions that have invested in Tiger Broker. And just look at the change. The companies, the institution that have invested in Tiger Broker during the past few months. So remember just now when we look at the share price, the chart, and we also noted that this share started to slowly grow, or before it started to take off at the end of 2020, and it's look at the growth of the institutions from the end of 2020 towards 2014. It looks very similar to the share price, right? So this is also the end of 2020, and this is where the institution started to invest heavily before the share price take off, right? So I think it really shows that the institutions player also believed in the potential of Tiger Broker. That's why they are investing in this. And the next point I want to talk about is the China financial system. There's still a lot of growth there's still plenty of room for growth. So the Chinese financial system started in around 1990s, and actually it's still in its infancy. And we also know that over the past 20-30 years, the Chinese people are becoming more affluent. They have more spending power. The younger generation are more IT savvy. So all these are actually positive attributes, positive factors that will actually help Tiger Broker to grow. So the next point I want to share with you is the current industry events. So let's take a look at the current world news that will affect share price like Tiger. So we know that there are a lot of tension between US and China, and many people thought that once Biden become president, he will reverse a lot of the executive order that were previously imposed by President Trump. But instead, we are seeing that Biden is looking to further ban more Chinese companies, and you know, preventing US investor from investing in this Chinese company. So this is the first event that actually affect Tiger, but I don't really see this as a black swan event. It looks like a black swan event in the short term, because it will definitely drive down the Tiger share price. But in the long term, we also need to think about where will all these Chinese company list their will conduct their IPO. So if it's not in the US, they will probably do it closer from home. So they probably will look into doing their IPO in the Hong Kong or Shanghai Stock Exchange. So the other news is the recent TT IPO, which we all now know that China government is looking to tighten the oversights of data securities and overseas listings. So once again, all this news is pointing towards this kind of China tech companies and the China unicorns from maybe looking to list their stocks in the Hong Kong market instead of the Nasdaq or other stock. I mean, to list their share price closer to at home. And actually all these factors are actually very good for the Tiger share price in the future. So just to recap, I have talked about their business model and why it's disruptive to the traditional brokerage company. I talk about their success in executing their international expansion. I talk about how they have their Xiaomi as a backing, and also how institution players are actually investing in this Tiger Broker. I talk about in the future the Chinese financial system still has a lot of room for growth, and the market is really big. I talk about the current industry events that will point to more stocks going to list in Hong Kong, and all these are good for Tiger Broker. So before we move on to the challenges, if you like what I just shared, I would appreciate if you can leave a like and leave me a comment, and subscribe to my channel. So the challenges is a lot of uncertainty, because Tiger is actually operating in an emerging market. So this stock is very cyclical and highly affected by news in China. And recently we see a lot of black swan news that are coming out from China that actually drove down a lot the share price of the major tech companies like Alibaba, Tencent, Baidu. So the share price is very, very volatile. So just using Yahoo Finance to look at the stock summary, you can see that Tiger has a beta of 1.8. There's also one of its main competitor is Futu, which is a bigger brokerage company. They have the same business model. It's backed by Tencent. Look at their beta. Their beta is only 1.29, which is less volatile as compared to Tiger. So if Tiger Broker is something that you are uncomfortable in investing in because of the volatility, but you still want to buy a company that has the same similar background, I think the other company you can consider is Futu. This is a bigger company, brokerage company, but they have the same structure. They have even their chart is trading in a similar fashion, same as Tiger. Oh yeah, and I also want to share with you that Tiger Broker, right? They just recently they announced they actually issue more shares. So from here you can see that they issue more shares, and the price that they issue was $24.50. So from this news, you can see that when they issue more shares, the underwriter fully exercised their option to purchase these additional shares, and the offering price was 24.5. So this is the price that the institution have bought into Tiger, and the current share price of Tiger is $19.89. So actually, to no one really knows what's going to happen in the short term, because the share price might go down. But I think based on the factors that I have mentioned, if you have a investment horizon of a longer time period, this share could potentially go up a lot higher. But of course, in the short term, you have to deal with the short-term volatility. So that's all for today that I'm sharing. Thank you for watching my video until now. This is my very first video, and I apologize if my presentation is not very good, and I still have a lot to learn. So thank you very much.